Did it work? Am I live? I think it worked. I've been trying to get on for a couple minutes now. It hasn't been letting me. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Hello, my beautiful internet friends. Let me know in the chat if you can actually see my face, hear my voice. It looks like it's working, but no one's saying anything. Well, I'm just gonna keep talking and hope. Oh yes, people can see me. Okay. Do you see Sophie in the background? I saw someone in the chat earlier say that they hope that my doggos were in it. So she has positioned herself carefully to be in the shot. I'm sure that's why she's laying there. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Haley. Hi, Top Hat Banjo and Emma and Jonathan and Megan and Alessandra. That's a pretty name. I like that. Orange Cat and Maribel, Mari, Joey, John, Charles, Austin, Roughly, Jennifer, Daryl, Evangeline, everybody. Hello. It's great to see you guys here. Thanks for hopping on with me. If you feel like it, if you want to give this video a thumbs up, it will help it get out to more people, but no worries if you don't feel like it. Hello, Daniel and Julie and Randall and Tracy and Stump Kitchen. Oh my God, hello. If you haven't seen our collab, my collab with Stump Kitchen, please go check it out after this live on their channel. It's awesome. So I thought I would hop on here with the few minutes that I have. I'm covered in paint, by the way, if you see all that. I decided to paint last night, and then it got everywhere. In fact, it got everywhere to the point where the dogs were tracking my paint around the house. Don't know how that happened. They didn't put their paws in my paint, but somehow paint got on their paws, and then they walked around our house and put white paint paws everywhere. And so I spent a while scrubbing that off the floors. Thankfully, acrylic paint comes off of things very easily, so it's not too difficult. Holden, hello. I'm glad you're here. Nicholas and Eloise. Eloise, I think I said that right. Charles, thank you. Here from Lou, stayed for the positive vibes. Oh, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate that. That's very kind and generous of you. Rollerbot says they loved that collab, the collab with Stump Kitchen. I'm glad. It's one of my favorite ones that I've ever done. Okay, so I am going to go through some Patreon questions, but please leave me questions in the chat, and I will do my very best to answer as many as possible in between going through some of these. Susan says, hi, love you in your videos. Been an above-knee amputee for 56 years. You can do it. Oh, thank you. That's really encouraging to me. I appreciate that quite a bit. Still feel like I'm a baby in my little amputee journey. Oh, this is a good question. Top Hat Banjo asks, are you worried about the coronavirus? I kind of am a little bit, they say. Yes, a little bit. I have a miserable immune system. I get sick often, as you guys know. And when I get sick, I get real sick. I don't just get like sniffly. I get like I'm on the couch for 3 days feeling like I'm dying kind of sick because my body, it doesn't like getting sick, but it gets sick a lot. Anyways, so for me personally, I have some concerns. Brian has not wanted me to go out and do much just because of the whole public gatherings thing. And we've been taking precautions, but I have friends and relatives who are older or who are dealing with, serious illnesses that make them more susceptible. So it is a little bit concerning. I'm not panicked about it. I hope nobody's too panicked about it, but it's something we got to be careful with for sure. Compliment Assassin says, I wish I could stay, but if I stay up too late, I become super anxious. Oh, we don't want you panicking all day. Please go to sleep. And I hope you have a wonderful night's sleep. Thanks for stopping by though. I appreciate that. Caitlin says, how are you? I am actually pretty good today. I released a video a couple days ago talking about depression and being in the midst of it, and it's pretty rough. But today has taken a bit of a step forward. We'll see what tomorrow brings, but I feel a little bit more alive, which is great. I got a lot done today, which makes me feel good and a little bit productive. So okay, let's see here. Katie says, I was wondering if you have a service puppy dog. I don't. I have 3 dogs, but none of them are service dogs. They are not that well trained. Okay, so I'm going to go through some Patreon questions. I'm forward to a once a month Q&A. So, JM asks how my return to is going. So many of you guys know. By the way, I've realized that I say so all the time. I'm trying to say it less. I just about said so if you hear me saying it. If you hear me saying it, feel free to point it out because I think I say it way too often. My return to martial arts is going very slowly. I may or may not have done a little bit of jiu-jitsu in the fairly recent past, but I'm taking it super slowly because I do not want to mess my leg up. My paramount concern is making sure that my leg stays okay. So it's going very slowly. Lunar Star Fox says, how do you fight the urges to just stay in bed, sleep all day because of depression? Man, that's a really hard one because that definitely hits, and it definitely hits really hard. I think it's a combination of knowing when to fight it and knowing when I can't do things. But I work and I have to do things. So it's not like none of us really can just stay in bed all the time when we're depressed. And it's not particularly healthy long term to do that. So I use the 5-minute rule sometimes. My counselor shared this with me. When you're like in that really, really dark place, set a timer for 5 minutes and do the thing, whatever the thing is, whether it's getting out of bed or starting a shower or doing the dishes. And then when that timer rings and 5 minutes is up, you are allowed to go back to bed. But oftentimes getting through that first 5 minutes is the hardest, and you may find it's a little easier after that. And I definitely do find sometimes it's a little bit easier after that. Stacy says, I just had my right leg below the knee amputated in November and have had a lot of emotions. I totally understand that, Stacy. A ton of emotions are to be expected. It's a weird, crazy, all over the place kind of journey. And you're what, 3, 4, 5 months in, 4 months in? Yeah, I think about 5 or 6 months is when I started having a particularly rough time trying to cope with everything. But it gets slowly better, and you aren't alone. Okay, so, I just did it again. I said the word. Tessa says, what tips do you have for managing pain without medications? I'm trying to create a list of things to try when my back and ankle pain gets really bad. So what I have found is can't take medications or don't want to, I will lay down on a comfy couch with a fuzzy blanket and a heating pad and just try to frickin' breathe. I usually try to do something to distract myself, which usually involves a movie with a story. Like, I can't watch documentaries when I'm in a lot of pain. It needs to have a storyline to it. And so I'll do that. But to be honest, like when pain gets really bad, I mostly am not able to do much of anything, and I just have to lay down and wait for it to pass. So that's not a super helpful tip, but that is what I do. JJ says, I'm worried that someday I might have to have because there's so much unknown and there's no way to know all the questions that you even should ask, and you can't get answers to questions you don't know how to ask, and the answers you get to some questions aren't necessarily right because every person is different, and it's just a lot. It's a lot. But I still don't regret it at all. I deal with grief over everything that's happened, over ever hurting my ankle, over all the surgeries I've had to have, over losing my leg. But nothing is the end of the world. It can feel like it, but nothing is the end, no matter what you're experiencing. If you're facing losing a leg, or you've lost someone you love, or fill in the blank, it's never the end for you, and there is a way through it. So if you do end up facing that, I think you do, JJ, you'll find a way through it, and you won't be alone doing it. There's a big community here to support you. Hey Joe, is your name Joe or is it just a nickname? It is just a nickname. One of my best friends in the whole world started calling me Joe when we were 13, and eventually I adopted it as what most people call me. But my name is Jordan. That's my full name. Most people think it's Josephine. It's not. It's Jordan. Let's see here. Maggie, hello. How do you deal? I had to put my feeding tube back in temporarily, but mentally it feels like a step back and it gets me down. I so understand that. I am so sorry that you have had to go through that. I know you said it's temporary. There's some relief in temporary, but it's so hard to take steps backwards in your journey. And you know that I've had quite a few of those, especially recently. When my leg hasn't been doing super good. Like, I'm going in tomorrow to get a new socket. I'm able to do some things, but it's really not good. It hurts a lot. I don't like it. For me, honestly, over the last year and a half, it has really been focusing on other things. Like, not ignoring the emotions that I'm feeling from being frustrated or discouraged, but like choosing to still move forward with other things in my life, like writing and filming things and editing things and learning and reading books, things that I can control, because man, taking steps backwards and setbacks and stuff like that are just crushing, absolutely crushing. And I spend, when that happens, I spend a good deal of time being quite sad about it. But focusing on other things along with processing those emotions has been very, very important for me. And Sarah, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your super chat. That is so very kind of you. They say, happy Monday, Joe. Can you do an in-depth video about disclosure, about trauma? Oh, good question. To family, friends, medical professionals. What you did. I am struggling with bad reactions or fearing telling my family. I so get that. Actually, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but I have a second channel called Trauma Talk, and I have done a whole video about how to tell your family and how I told my family. So Sarah, if you go to Trauma Talk, 2 words, it's within the last 10 or 15 videos that I did. It's like how to tell your family about trauma. But to answer it here, because we're all chatting right now, I was really scared of telling my family, and I developed a fear of telling friends because they don't always have the best reactions, but I did it, and I did it consistently, and it was really good for me to do so. I still, like 8 years in, I still struggle with being afraid of what like professionals are going to say. I was at a friend of mine bought me a massage, which was so very sweet of her. And so I went, and massages are a little emotional for me because I don't super love being touched by strangers, but I was like, we're going to do this. And I went, and they were asking for like my history. And generally speaking, trauma is something that would be good to disclose, like mental, emotional, physical, sexual trauma. So it's good to disclose to massage therapists. But I just like went into my medical history. I was like, I don't want to talk about the fact that I have PTSD and dealt with stuff. And so I did. And then it came up later in conversation, and it was going back to the specifics of your question, having not a pre-rehearsed, but 2 things. First of all, asking people to listen and not give advice. Like, hey, I want to talk to you about something. Is it okay? I just need someone to listen right now, has been helpful for me to start conversations with. And then there was something else I was going to say. Yes, having an idea of what you're going to say. Like I have a 2-sentence version of what I've experienced. And if I feel okay once I've said those 2 sentences, I may keep expanding from there. But if I don't love their reaction or I'm unsure, I might just leave it there. And that's all that needs to be said. So sort of having an idea of these are the 2 sentences I'm going to say. And then if I feel okay, if I feel safe after that, depending on the reaction, I'm going to continue, has been helpful for me too. It makes it more clinical too, to like have 2 sentences about what was happened to me and traumatized me in my life. So I can, tell doctors or whatever, and makes it less emotional and on the fly. And when I'm trying to think of what to say about horrible things I've gone through, when I'm in the middle of a conversation, it can be a little bit more challenging. But like I said, Trauma Talk, there are a whole video about that, and there's a lot of other videos about trauma too, and I hope that can help you some, Sarah. Okay, let's see here. How painful was your nose piercing? I'm getting mine tomorrow, says Julie. So it actually wasn't that painful the second time. So this nose piercing was not bad at all. It's over pretty quickly. I actually had a nose piercing previously in my life on the other side briefly, and that really hurt. I think it depends where they pierce it, if they happen to get close to nerves, how sensitive you are, but it's over really quickly. Like I just like, grit my teeth and close my eyes, and they do it, and then it's done. So hopefully yours will not be too bad at all. Caitlin says, I'm going to subscribe to that channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Huge Nation Little Mind, that's a cute name, says, Joe, did you ever feel that you were not it since your leg is gone? P.S. You're worth it 100%. Thank you so much. That's really, really kind of you to say. I felt less than other people sometimes, but that's passed really quickly. It's not so much less than other people, it's different. I felt very, very different than other people, and that can lead to feelings of alienation. And I think feeling alienated can make you feel worth less than other people. So yes, I definitely have experienced that, but it's passed pretty quickly. I've tried to be open about stuff, which has been helpful, and not, for me, like not hiding the fact that I'm an amputee has helped me adjust to it a lot faster. By the way, I just saw that I was having connection issues. It looks like everyone can still hear me, and I hope that's true. Jonathan asks, what was your most painful tattoo? Hands down, the one, hands down, this one. This little one right here, I wanted to cry like a little baby and just be done with it because it really freaking hurt. Have you ever had like someone like pinch like your tricep skin? It's so freaking sensitive. So that one was the worst by far. I have two on my ribs and one on my back that hits my spine, and that was not nearly as bad. So yes, everyone can still hear me, can still see me. Cool. Teddy Bear asks, how is COVID-19 affecting your day-to-day? It is affecting our day-to-day. We've bought preparations in case we need to be in, mandatory or voluntary quarantine. It has reached my state. It's reached my county. So we went out and we bought a lot of things at Costco to stock up. They're things we use anyways, but just in case, just kind of getting prepared. And I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but other countries have completely shut down. So, hey, who knows? So it's affected that. And then there have been some, like I talked to my boss a couple days ago about going to work events that like I'm probably going to talk to him about saying for the time being, that's not a good idea for me just because I get things really easily and I get sick, really, really sick when I get sick. So it has affected my day to day. Let's see here. Charlotte, hey, Charlotte says, I'm a producer now. Yay, yes, you are. Your name will be in the next credits. She's one of my patrons. Yes, so I got it updated. So you'll now be a producer in the new credits. Okay, so the next question here, Chris asks, if this isn't an old question, what was your college degree and what is your day job? So my college degree is in leadership communication. Doesn't that sound super fancy? It's not. It was really fun. I majored in so many things. I changed my major. I don't think it was actually 8 times, but I kind of feel like it was 8 times. I started with exercise science and then philosophy and psychology briefly and all different kinds of things until I settled on communication and focused on studying leadership because it was really fascinating to me. I like people. I like learning how people work. So it was a good degree for me. As far as what I do for work, I don't go into specifics about that, but I work in general in the software development sort of world, except that I work with people, not programming. Jennifer says I changed my major 5 times. Okay, so I'm in good company here. Good. Girly Gamer says, hey Joe, my boyfriend has depression and he hasn't told his family yet because he doesn't want them mad. Is there any way to help him or should I just be willing to listen? You're very supportive. That's so kind of you to even ask. I think that shows that you really, really care about him. That's really cool. So listening for me has been one of the most helpful things in the entire world. Sometimes it's really hard to put things into words when you're dealing with depression. I feel like I lose cognitive abilities. So just being able to talk and have someone there to listen, even if I don't make 100% sense, and someone who isn't panicked about the fact that I'm depressed. Sometimes you can say to someone, hey, I'm dealing with depression, and they get really panicky and scared and, outwardly very worried. And then it's almost like you have to calm them down, which takes a lot of energy. So people who can just listen and understand that, this is a mental health issue, I'm trying to deal with it and I need help, and just treat it like that has been really helpful. So listening without getting too panicked, I think is a really good thing. Obviously, if someone says something that's really, really concerning, maybe it's not a bad idea to panic a little bit and ask for help outside of yourself. But I certainly hope if he tells his family that they are not mad, because it's a horrible thing to have someone mad at you for, because it's not inside your control. And the least helpful thing is if someone got upset with you. With someone's there, they're going to check in on you has been really helpful for me. And I hope that helps you. Jesse, thank you for your chat. That's really, really sweet of you. And I really appreciate that. May says, how to get out of dissociation? Please help me. I can't get out of it once I'm in it, and then it lasts for ages. I had been there before, and it's a bizarre feeling. Have any of you ever experienced disassociation aside from May, who was asking? I was once in it for, I think 3 days was the longest, and it feels so weird because you're just completely outside of yourself and kind of floating and observing things, and yet you are still like acting, you're still having actions, but you're not there even though you're there. It's a very weird thing. I'll be honest, I don't have any groundbreaking advice on what helps, but what has helped me is very grounding things, like going outside and literally like feeling, this might sound weird, but like literally like sitting down and putting my hands in grass or dirt or whatever, and like literally feeling the ground and feeling that it's there and feeling that I am like a human on planet Earth. Being in nature has been helpful. Being around animals is comforting, though it doesn't necessarily like fix it. And telling people, hey, I'm not really here right now. Telling people who you can trust has been helpful for me too, because sometimes that connection can help bring you out of it a little bit. Do I like public speaking? Asked Dusty. Yes, I do. I love it. It is a huge passion of mine. It's what I want to do with the rest of my life. I want to do public speaking professionally. I am actively looking for places that I can come speak. I really love it. I absolutely love it. And you're very sweet to say you're a natural lifting spirits. Thank you. Susan says, I think it's terrific that you have a channel. You are showing people with challenges that they're just regular people. Thank you. That's really, really sweet of you. I appreciate that. Raven Rose says, is your new socket a direct one like the one you have? Yes, it is. It is indeed. So I'm going back up, and they are going to be creating a new direct socket with new knowledge that they've gained from a recent conference. And I'm very hopeful about it. It'll be fun to do. I'm going to film it. I'm going to have a good time, and we're going to hope that it actually helps things. All right, I'm gonna go back to Patreon questions here, and then Charmaine says, hey Joe, what's your favorite NF song? I'm really into a few right now. If you don't know the artist NF, like the letters N and F, I absolutely love him. He's one of my favorite artists of all time. It's technically rap music, I guess. Maybe not. It's like rap hip. It's hip hop. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not good at music genres, but my favorite song is probably Mansion. Is that what it's called? Therapy Session is really good too. It's very raw music, and I love it. He talks a lot about mental health stuff in his lyrics, and the weird thing is he's gotten really popular, but he doesn't talk about like drug, sex, and a bunch of bad language. Not that I'm opposed to bad language. You know that I cuss occasionally. But he's a very clean artist for talking about very dark subjects, and I appreciate that. David says, will you marry me? Well, no, David, I am happily taken, but I hope you find someone. Caitlin says, I was wondering how painful was your surgery before you lost your leg? You're the best YouTuber ever. That's so sweet of you to say. Thank you. So how painful were my surgeries before I lost my leg? So I had a number of very painful surgeries, and I was kind of sick of it. I was very done with surgeries before my leg amputation, but it was, if you're asking how my ankle felt day to day, it was very sharp, numb, constant aching pain. And the worst thing was if I moved my ankle a certain way and it would like change what way that was, it would catch, pop, and then be in so much pain. And I could feel it right when it happened. I knew that the pain was about to hit, and it was not fun. That would happen sometimes multiple times a day. Sometimes it would not happen for a day, but it was rough. And then I would be in a lot of pain for hours. So I'm glad that I don't have to deal with that anymore. Pranjit, I hope I say that right, says, greetings from India, your inspiration. I just want to give you a hug, love and respect. Oh, thank you so much. That's really sweet of you. Oh, Not Telling says, do you have a clean your prosthetic? How do you clean your prosthetic? Have I ever done a video about it? I'm going to run because I totally do that. Maybe I'll talk to my prosthetist about all the things that I should be doing. Yes, I do clean it. Like I wash out the liners and stuff pretty much daily. Okay, so Axel asks, hey Joe, hope your leg is getting better since the last update on it. I'd be happy to have news, except if you want to keep it in private. Do you struggle with painkillers side effects? I don't. Not very much. You guys know that I'm on a variety of pain-killing medications, but I've been on them for so long that I don't get side effects that I feel from them. Like I don't get loopy or out of it or super happy or super sad or anything. They've never really had that strong of an effect on me. They help with pain some, but that's one of the biggest reasons I'm trying to come off of any narcotic-based painkillers, because I've become so adjusted to them. When you get to that point, you need more to feel the same pain relief, and I don't want to just keep taking more and more and more medication. So I've been working over the last month to slowly come off of things, and it's going well. It's going very, very slowly, but it is going well. Never thought, Shernette says, never thought I'd be so interested in someone who's an amputee, but here I am binge watching your videos for the past 5 days. That's so sweet. Thank you. I find that I love listening to people who have different life experiences than me and stuff that I like have no comprehension of. Like recently I got really, really interested in dissociative identity disorder. I think that's right. And watching YouTubers who have it and share their stories. And it's really great to learn more about. So I find myself often binge watching videos from people who I have absolutely no personal connection to. Like I don't share that experience, so I get it. Let's see here. Why do you constantly refer to yourself as legless? Asked Nicole. You are blessed to have your leg. You had your foot and ankle amputated. That's a good question, actually, because I do say I lost my leg. Because I lost a good chunk of my leg, and it feels like I lost my leg. I still have my knee joint, but effectively, the effective part of half of my leg is gone. So I could say I lost half my leg, but in general conversation, saying I lost my leg just sort of makes more sense to me, and it's where my head goes. Because I didn't just lose my foot and my ankle, I lost a significant portion of my leg along with that. But you're right, that it is not totally accurate. I will say when I started this channel, I thought about calling it Legless Joe, and I was like, that's not accurate though. I'm just down a foot and then some. So I understand the question. I hope that answers it. David, hey David, says, are you bringing back the purple hair? Yes, I really want to bring back the purple hair. The problem is that it's expensive. It's outside of my price range at the moment, but I would really, really love to. And it's on the short list of things that I will do when we have the funds available for such things. I loved having purple hair. It's so fun. And I could probably do it myself, but I don't have any experience in dyeing my hair. And if I'm going to have it done, I'd like it done right. So hopefully it'll be coming back in the near future. Would you guys like to see the purple hair return? Let me know in the comment section. Would you like to see a different color? I have considered doing like the silver gray hair. I've also considered doing blue. I think those are probably the only two that I would actually consider. I thought about going like dark, like deep amber red. I don't think that's for me though. I don't like the color red in general, and I don't think I want red hair, and Brian doesn't like red hair either. So I think it'll cut that one out. But let me know what you guys think. Did we like the purple hair? Elliot says, how are you doing? I'm pretty good at the moment. I'm sipping some English breakfast decaf tea with milk and honey. Always have to have milk and honey in it. Rachel says, have you considered overtone conditioner? Yes, I have, and I used it a lot, and I don't have any at the moment, but it didn't actually do much for my hair turning purple. It just kind of like takes some of the orange out of it. Not Telling says, did you watch Disassociated? Yes, I do. I was actually watching them earlier today. Bring back the purple hair, says Elliot. David, yes, purple. Daniel, yes, purple. Carrie votes for blue hair. Trent says purple is my favorite color. That's awesome, because purple is my favorite color, and it is the best color, and there is no debate about that. Yes to purple. Austin says Brian has red hair, though. See, here's the thing. He kind of does. He doesn't think he does, though. He has blonde hair, but he has a red beard because he's Irish like that. His hair, a lot of people think his hair is red, so it's interesting. I think it depends on the lighting. Try a wig to see what color is best, says Raven. That's a great idea. I should do that because I feel like blue would be fun, but I don't know that it fits me. I just don't know. So I liked the purple a lot. I feel like it was very me, especially when it faded just a tiny bit. Like when it was super dark purple, I wasn't in love with that. Well, I loved it, but like I liked it when it was like a lighter purple, which is what I was going for. Jeff says Brian is a ginger. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to tell him that the consensus so far is that Brian does have red hair, but he doesn't agree with you guys. Lots of votes for purple. Nicole says, thanks for answering your question. I appreciate it. I'm an amputee and I actually am legless, so I see you. I'm happy for you. You have more leg than I've ever seen. Oh, thank you, Nicole. I really appreciate you saying that. And I hope that me saying that I am missing a leg or part of a leg doesn't offend people who are missing more leg than I am. And if it does, let me know. Silver gray would be cool. Okay, cool. Okay. Hold on. Oh, so something I haven't talked about in a video just yet is that one of my rats passed away recently, very unexpectedly. Little D passed away, and it was really rough. So someone was asking me how I'm doing after losing her, and thanks for asking. It's rough, but my little ratties, the rest of them are doing very well. I have 3 now, and they used to be in 2 separate cages. So like 2 were in one, 2 were in the other. But now I have, it took me a few days, but now they're all living in one cage together and they're very happy. And I have 1 less cage to clean, which is great. And the cage I have is huge. So it's like, it could fit 5 rats, but there are only 3 in it at the moment. Okay, so next question. Alice says, the weather in February usually has me down, so I'm planning my perfect vacation, which I definitely cannot afford. I totally get that. If money didn't matter, how would your perfect vacation look like? Well, here's the thing, guys. I loved Ireland, so I want to go back there desperately, but I also love, from the bottom of my heart, I freaking love snorkeling, and I really want to learn how to scuba dive. But like being in the water, being in warm water, seeing little fishies going around. I went to Hawaii once and got to do that, and it felt like it was a part of my soul, like a part of who I was. And excuse me, I really loved it. So it would probably look like going to wherever the best place is that I could snorkel pretty much all day, every day, and learn some cool scuba diving too. Yeah, that's what it would look like for me. Katie says, you are so beautiful, but I feel sad watching you as an amputee. Why do you feel sad watching me as an amputee? Out of curiosity, I would love to hear. Jenny says, because I don't feel, I mean, like I do feel sad being an amputee sometimes. I don't feel sad about the fact that like, I don't think amputees in general are sad. I'm just kind of bummed that I'm missing my leg. Hey, Joe, what advice would you give someone suffering with PTSD, says Jenny? Good question. I think I would say it does get better. It gets better slowly and surely. And it's important to invest in recovering. When I was diagnosed with PTSD, it was sort of a relief because I knew that something was very, very wrong with my brain. And actually getting the diagnosis was really terrifying to me because I had some ideas about what that meant, but it was what I was living anyway. So it was good to put a label on it. Putting things into words, learning to put things into words, whether it was journaling or speaking or eventually public speaking, talking to friends or making videos, was healing for me to reconnect with myself. Doing things that were very physical, like mixed martial arts fighting, jiu-jitsu, yoga, things to try to connect with my body, because a lot of my trauma was around my body and my mind, was really, really helpful for me too. But I think the biggest piece of advice I would give you is that it does get better. Sometimes you just have to soldier through and make it to the next day and then the next and the next. Let's see here. Oh, Aofi, I think I'm saying your name wrong, but Aofi says, I'm having my leg amputated in 2 weeks. I can make light of the situation, but my family doesn't like it when I do. Any tips on what to do? I totally get that. I totally get that because I was making jokes about it before it even happened, and that can make other people uncomfortable sometimes. So I'm a little bit biased here, but for me, like when you lose a part of your body, it affects other people around you, but the person it affects is you. So if joking is going to help you get through it, tell jokes with whoever will listen, or talk to your family. What I would maybe do is talk to your family about the fact, like, hey, this is helping me deal. This is really hard for me. I know this is hard for all of us. But is it okay if I do this around you guys? Are you open to it? Because humor can be really helpful and healthy sometimes, but not everyone's in the right place for it. I get that. Not everyone around me has been in the right place for me to make jokes about things. And sometimes you have to choose not to say things around certain people. let's see here. Chibi Kate says, are you thinking of getting more puppies? Yes, always. I really, we don't have the space for it. Let me just make that clear. So not presently, but I really want an amputee puppy dog. I would really love to take care of one. And oftentimes they're in shelters for a long time, and I'd really love to give them a home. So when we have more space, I can pretty much guarantee we will be getting another dog, and it probably will be a German Shepherd mix because I love German Shepherds. They're needy and loyal and perfect, and I love them. Let's see here. I love jokes. It helps me deal with being an amputee, says Raven. Yes, yes, it does. Jeff asked what my cripple level is today. Okay, so if you didn't see this in another video, I talked about a friend who was like, you seem like your cripple level is pretty low today. And I thought it was the funniest thing. So my cripple level is pretty low today. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say I'm about a 4.5 cripple. Yeah, I'm pretty mobile. I'm not in a ton of pain, and we're doing all right. So thanks for the question. Okay, so Natalie asked, growing up, did I know any amputees? Did you have any thoughts on their amputation? I didn't. I did not know any amputees. I don't think I even saw that many. The only thing I saw about amputees was like occasionally someone getting on stage and giving a super inspirational speak about overcoming everything. But I didn't really have a lot of interactions with people who were dealing with disabilities of any kind. And so this whole process has been a learning process for me. Yeah, but that's a good question. Jody asks, do you think with your latest update on your amputation that you'll be able to run again just a little later on? I'm really hoping you'll be able to. Jody, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I have no idea. I'll just be totally honest. I have no idea, but I can tell you that if there's any way I can, I will friggin' do it because I desperately want that. And I think it is possible. I just don't know when or how just yet, but I think it's possible and I have high hopes for it. Mary says, what is something you would want invented to make recovery from amputation easier? When I read this question, the first thing that popped in my head is like, if there was just a general fund for people who had just gone through amputation so they didn't have to worry about getting back to work so quickly and all of the medical costs and expenses, that'd be cool. If someone could invent that, that'd be awesome. Like just for the initial months after it, because it's good to spend as much time recovering as you can and not press yourself. And there's so much change and so exhausting. It's hard to worry about getting back to work. So I'm sure there are organizations that do that, but that would be helpful. But as far as any device, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. A lot of things have been invented. The iWalk was life-changing for me, being able to walk hands-free. That was a really cool thing for me. But I'll think on it. If I have a better answer for you later on, I'll let you know. Natalie says, you know what? I have MS. From about 4 years ago. Now I have a little trouble balancing. Usually I make fun of it, just like you do as an amputee. People usually don't get it. I'm sorry that's something you're dealing with, but I get it. Humor is really helpful. It's healthy. It's a healthy way to deal to a certain extent. What would you say to someone with an upper limb amputation or any advice? I know you're a lower limb amputee. That is something I would say check out other YouTubers who are dealing with upper limb amputation, like my friend Alexis from Stump Kitchen or my friend Christy on Christy Sia. They both are missing hands and have great information, great conversations about that. It's something I'm not very educated on, and I'd love to learn more. Chris says, is there anything you wish was more readily available to amputees? Yes. She says, such as, I wish there were clothing lines that were made specifically for above and below knee amputees. Yes, I cannot say that loudly enough. Yes, clothing needs to be better. Clothing needs to deal with this. Has been one of like the biggest, because like I like wearing jeans, but if I want to wear jeans, it makes it impossible to change out like my leg socks and like to take off like on and off during the day. It's just, I wish there were better options. I really do. Or I think there are some out there and people are developing some, but amputation clothing line, I would endorse it fully if I could. DJ says, are you planning for a prosthetic fin for swimming? I'm not, because I did swim once and I did okay. But if I like went snorkeling or something like that, I feel like it'd be helpful because I don't have a very strong kick on one side, as you might assume. Yeah, I know that they do make fins and they do make swimming legs. From my understanding, they're pretty expensive. I could be wrong there. I feel like if you just like strapped a fin onto your nubbin, my nubbin, that could be good. There's got to be a way to do that, right? Jimmy McKinney says, do you like the outdoors? Yes. Yes, I do. It is like a part of who I am, a part of my soul. We went hiking this weekend, actually, which was great. It was a short hike, but getting outside of just being in the city all the time, just being in houses and shops and stuff all the time is really good for me. I've tried to make an effort at that lately to try to help my mental health because it's been a rough season. And being outside really helps me feel a little bit more connected and a little less in my head. People are always asking, why are you so happy? Always I say to them, there are some things that you just have to deal with. Good question. I think people have said that to me often. How are you so happy, or why are you so happy? Thing is, I'm not happy all the time at all. But like you said, you just make the best of it, whatever you're dealing with. And I think we're all trying to do that. And you have good days and bad days and everything in between. How good is the artificial foot in hiking conditions? Asked Chauvin. I'm going to take a guess. That's how we say that name. It's a cool name. It's good. It is good. I couldn't do too much with it. Like I couldn't like press it really hard because my leg doesn't feel great yet, but it does pretty well because we went on like, you know, off-road terrain. It wasn't like a hiking trail. It was a hiking trail, but it's like through dirt and rocks and stuff like that. And it is pretty adaptive. Like I can feel it. I really like the leg I have. It adapts really well to being on uneven ground. So it's pretty great. I like it. I have the Ossur ProFlex Torsion XC and I like it a lot. Isa, hello. It's great to see you here. Let's see here. Do you get the option of what you wanted to do with your leg after your amputation? No, you don't, at least in the hospital system that I went to. I have a whole video about what actually happens to amputated limbs, but most people can't get them back. I understand there are some conditions under which you can request your body parts back. I just didn't. I asked if we could, and they said no. Isa says, I can't stay long, but I want to stop by and say hi. It's great to see you here. Okay, so if anyone has any specific questions on anything they'd like me to answer, pop them in the chat. I've got to leave in a few minutes here, but I'd love to get through as many as I can. Are you guys enjoying any hot beverages at the moment or cold ones? I would love to know. I feel like whenever I sit down and talk to anyone, I need to have something fairly warm to sip on. I really enjoy that. Jimmy asked, have I ever driven a four-wheeler? Yes, I have when I was younger, and it was a lot of fun. It was a little scary, but it's a lot of fun. Adair says, I love the vlog where you read from your journals. I'm really glad. I'm really glad you liked it. It was a bit of a different one for me. I was like, this is going to make me happy to do today, so I'm going to do it. I wasn't sure if people would like it or not, so I'm really glad to hear that you did. Faith asks when my birthday is. It is in late April. It's April 24th. A famous birthdays has it wrong. They have it as January 1st, 1991. I'm like, dude, you didn't do any research. That's definitely not accurate. Jeffrey says, did you get your prosthetic problems with recent pain worked out? Nope, not yet, but hopefully soon. We're working on it. We're working on it a lot. Shannon asks, do you miss your leg even though it was painful? Yes, I do to some extent. I miss the ease of being able to do things without thinking about like the stupid easy household things, like getting up to get a glass of water, even though it was painful. It was like I didn't have to think about strapping on my leg back on. I miss things. Oh, Jenny says, I'm enjoying some Crown Royal. Thanks for asking. Delicious. It's not personally my favorite. I don't do a whole lot of drinking. I like gin. Gin's my thing. Yeah, I really like gin, but I'm glad that you're enjoying some Crown Royal. Zoe says, can you do more art videos? Thanks for asking. I'd love to. I just painted this yesterday. It's going to be the background. I'm going to do like a silhouette on top of it. So this isn't a completed painting, but I wanted to do something with like paint splatter because it looks cool to me. So I've just been playing around with like silly things. And then I made this as a background for something else I'm thinking of doing. You can't really see it, but it's like sparkly gold paint through it. So if the light hits it, it will look cool. Okay, so I have to hop off. So I'm gonna pick one more question. And then I'm gonna have to go, but it's been wonderful to chat with you guys. Okay, let's see here. Faith has a black lab service dog. That's really sweet. Okay, have you ever, Zoe says your art is so pretty. Thank you. Kiari Warrior asks, do I have EDS? That is the question I'm gonna answer. It's not diagnosed. I'm in the process of getting diagnosed. I have my suspicions that I do have it. EDS is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, for those of you who don't know. Oftentimes, people with EDS have Chiari malformations, which is what I have, and basically every other symptom in my life, down to surgeries never working out, never healing really well. I fit so much of the criteria, being super, super flexible without trying, things like that. So I have my suspicions. Doctors have their suspicions, but I need to get in with a specialist to actually get diagnosed for it. So we'll see what happens with that. And I will certainly keep you guys updated on it. Okay, so I do have to hop off now. I've got to finish cleaning the house. The puppies played outside in the mud and the dirt today, and then they brought it all inside. I'm not mad at them because they're perfect little puppies and they had fun, but it does make for a lot of hard work to get it all cleaned up and not live in, basically filth. So thank you guys for hanging out with me so much. I really love doing this with you guys. Oh, and Brian's home right now, so that's perfect time. The dogs are barking. I love you guys. Thanks for all your questions and chatting and having a cup of tea with me here. So I love you guys. I'm thinking about you, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye, guys.